Hey, it's Risa G coming in from her cluttered kitchen for another Tip Tuesday. I did months ago a tips video on reusing food scraps. This time I'm doing a gardening video. I'm going to give you a tip on how to plant, on what to plant seeds in, what I do, and to preserve and not even to recycle, to reuse a certain popular item from drink restaurants, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, things like that. You can reuse those cups. Do not put them in the landfill. Do not throw them in the garbage. You can put them in the recycle bin, but I find them very useful for many things, one of which is planting seeds or small seedlings that just to plant it right off the bat into the ground. So I wanted to show you what I do. I've started a little late this year because of my new job, but I got it done last week and I already have a ton of seedlings. So I wanted to show you what I do, how I do it, and what has happened in one whole week in a sunny window. Okay, so normally I take empty pudding cups. Okay, empty pudding cups, any brand, doesn't matter. Normally I take these, but this year I don't have any empty ones. So I started them in these larger cups. But normally what I do is I take an empty pudding cup. With a knife or something sharp, I make a hole in the bottom. I fill it with potting mix or seed starter, something like that, and some water and get it all wet. And then I open my packet. Okay, I already taped this one shut. But I open it, I pull out the seeds, I put in 2 or 3 of them. And then I put it on one of these covers to a food service package, takeout package. And I put it on, and I put it in the window, and I water it when it looks dry. This one I just watered a little while ago. And after 3 or 4 days, usually if the seeds are fairly new, about 1 to either brand new this year or 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 years, they'll still come up, they'll germinate, all right? And you get lots of little seedlings, okay? Now, if you grow them in these tiny ones first, then you can transplant, you can thin these out, remove a few of them, either throw them out or plant them, and take one and put it in here into this size. You transfer it from the small size to the bigger size, and you get one plant. And if you wait another week or 2, it gets what they consider the first 2 real leaves. These are not the first 2 real leaves, because those are just at the very bottom of the plant and they kind of die off after a while. So when you get the first 2 real leaves, they're like this, then you can transplant it into a pot or into your raised bed or wherever you're doing your landscaping, okay? So you start out with the small pudding cup, you thin out the seeds, and then you put it in a bigger one like this. All right, well, I didn't get a chance to plant it in the little one, so I planted it in this. I'm gonna thin these out in a few days, or actually a day or so, and plant them in a bigger pot outside. The flowers are gonna go in the backyard, the front yard, and the vegetables are gonna go in the backyard. My raised bed is a mess. I'm not gonna do it in there this year. I don't have the time nor energy to clean out that raised bed. It's just so tall with weeds, it's crazy. And I think that there are bunny rabbits living in it. So I'll let the bunny rabbits be until they grow up and move out. And then maybe I'll cut it down later this summer and get it into better condition for some fall planting. But as of right now, these are going to go into the backyard and the front yard in pots. This one is Cosmos. The Cosmos grew really well in my front yard last year. I planted the seeds late. I planted them in May, and by September I had these gorgeous flowers. I had about 6 of them. They were gorgeous, and they just kept regrowing, dying off. I kept deadheading them and just growing again. And this one is poppies. Last year the poppies did not germinate for some reason. I planted some just right in the ground because it was so late, and they didn't come up. I did get Cosmos, and I did get Calendula, which I love, but I did not get any poppies. So I've got 7 poppies here. I'm going to thin them out in a day or so and transplant them into another 4 or 5 of these and put 2 in the ground and see what happens. And anyway, so that's what I do. I plant them in the little snack pack things, or any kind of pudding cup with a hole in the middle. And then I transplant them to a bigger size, so like the tall cups or the grande cups. And then what I also do sometimes is take venti cups when the plant is a good 6 inches tall. I cut off the bottom. I mean, I release it a little bit so I'm not cutting the roots out. And I actually cut off the bottom of the plant, cut off the bottom of the cup, and just dig the whole cup and plant. I put it right into the ground. And then when it's firmly in the ground, I release the cup. I take something like a knife or something, and I go around the the inside of the cup, and I release the cup. And I've done that too. So anyway, that's my tip for this week. A way of gardening and reusing your drink cups. Just make sure, if you do this, that you write the name of the seed on the cup and the date that you planted. Okay? And then when you transplant, do the same thing. And then when you transplant it into the ground or a pot, make sure to write it down somewhere. They keep record of when you plant things. And when you harvest, if you decide to pick out, cut the flowers or pull your kale or your Swiss chard or whatever, because it's good to know from year to year how long it took for things. And I also planted in the kitchen window, I also planted kale and Swiss chard. So later this summer, I'll show you what I got. So thanks for coming in and learning how to reuse your drink cups for gardening purposes. Hope you liked the tip. Thanks for coming into my kitchen. Bye.